She could have an earpiece in, right, and her team could be like Googling Shabaz says, you know what I mean, for all I know, and I'm like publicly open for everyone to know all about me, so she could have blagged that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Shabaz and this is Shabaz Says. So this week I went with some family who came down from London and I showed them around Blackpool and we did some sightseeing and things. We ended up going to the South Pier. I think it was the South Pier or the North Pier, one of them. And I ended up seeing a palm reader and she had like a crystal ball and she looked at the crystal ball. So I put this across my Snapchat and a lot of people wanted me to talk about my experiences. I got loads of questions about what happened and what was it like and what did she say, and and I thought to myself, rather than me sort of explaining it individually to different people, why not just put it in a video? So this is it. Before I start the video, I do want to say, by no means am I saying that I'm a believer or I'm promoting, going to see fortune tellers and mystic Megs and whatever. I'm just giving you an experience that I went to. I only went there for a laugh, and I know a lot of people had a lot to say about it. It was not like she was telling me anything major. She literally just like told me a few things. But anyway, you're watching the video. All I'm saying is I don't want anyone to sort of get offended by it and think, oh my god, it's wrong and you shouldn't go see fortune tellers and da-da-da and sidekicks and all this isn't real and blah blah blah. I'm just giving you my experience of me going to one. So let's get on with it. Anyway, so when I first got there, like, I walked past it and I thought to myself, I fancy trying it. I want to like, I don't know, I guess I don't know what I wanted to see. I mean, I don't really particularly want to see my future or anything like that, but I just thought it's worth finding out what she's saying and like finding out if it's real or not. Like, I went in as a skeptic. So first, when I got in, I sat down and she was like, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read your palms and then I'm going to look into the crystal ball, and it cost me £20, right? So just saying, £20. She sort of just started looking at my hands and like she held both hands and she looked at both of them. She was like reading them, just putting her hands across the lines or whatever, and I was like, child, I do not know what you're doing, but my hands are crusty as anything, right? So she was reading, she was having a look at them and stuff, and then she just started sort of saying things. Now, in all honesty, like, the environment itself wasn't creepy. Like, I wasn't weirded out. Like, she had a sort of like, the typical sort of psychic room, like, with all the tassels and all the, I don't know, it just looked like a typical psychic room. But she seemed really like normal. Like, it felt like a therapy session, in all honesty. I don't think it felt more like she was telling me my future, like, ooh. And in all the time she did it, she was looking at my palms when she was talking. She didn't really like look at me unless I spoke to her, then she looked at me. Because I thought to myself, and I've always thought this, I always thought, if she looks at me, she can obviously play off my reaction. Like, she says something, I can be like, and then she knows to carry on with that. But she never did a lot of that, which, in all honesty, I was kind of like, okay. Right, so firstly, she was looking at my hands. She said it straight away. As soon as she looked at my hands, she was like, oh, I'm skeptic here. I take it you don't believe. And I was like, no, not really. I'm not like, I'm a big believer in fates and sort of things happening by choice and by chances. She wasn't offended by it, which was nice. It was like, you don't want somebody to be all like, oh, well, you don't believe in it, so I'm going to tell you, because she kind of carried on. I guess she believed in what she was doing. Firstly, she was looking at my hands and she was like, I feel as though like someone has died recently. I was freaked out by it, but thousands and thousands of people die, a year. So it's kind of a vague comment, like, oh, somebody died, have they potentially? And then I'd be like, oh yeah, they have, you know what I mean? Then she started elaborating on that, and she was like, it's not immediate, like, I don't think this person's immediate, like, it's like a mother, father, or brother, or anything like that. From what I see is that you're holding on to sort of sorrow or grief from someone else. You are still grieving for the person that died, but you're more grieving for the person who's lost that person. So I think it was someone you knew through someone, and that's when I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. And it was weird because obviously everyone who knows me knows that my best friend's mum passed away recently, well, in November. So I guess that probably maybe had that vibe. I never thought it was something that I'd be carrying, but I can maybe, she's a good body, reading person. That freaked me out a little bit just because I was kind of like, okay, it's a bit weird. The next thing she mentioned was sort of like confidence, and she said that you have confidence. She was looking at my hands when she was saying this, she was kind of like, you have confidence, but that confidence seems to be projected confidence. Like, inside you might be feeling different, but you have a sort of projected confidence, and you try to walk head first, but inside you're quite nervous and quite self-destructing. She was like, what I'd say as a bit of advice to you is that this lack of confidence, lack of inner confidence, is gonna stop you from achieving the success you really want. Again, a little bit vague, but I thought I can kind of see why she'd say that about me. I just was like, okay, that's interesting. She was looking at my hands and she said, I can see that you're driven by success. You're motivated by success. Like, you're not motivated by money, it's having a purpose in life and wanting to know that you've achieved and you've done something. And that for me is very, very true. Like, that's my biggest sort of thing, is like, I want to achieve and I want to know that I've done something in life. So that was kind of like, okay, well done, yeah, right. Talking about me wanting to make a mark and leave the earth a better place and things like that. And she's mentioned those kind of things, and I thought, okay, now you're starting to freak me out a little bit, because that's very much my sort of core belief, is wanting to do something amazing and be someone. She was talking about like valuing friendships over family, and she was like, you do like your family, you are close to your immediate family, but I feel you have more of a bond with friendship and you bond quite closely to your friends and you really hold on to them and things like that. She was like, you know, you've got a few close friends that you keep quite close to you, you trust just them, you're not very trusting of other people, and I think that stands in the way of a lot of potential friendship and future relationships. She did say that she felt like I was holding on to a lot of baggage from the past. She said that it seems that you're holding on to something that someone said or something that someone's done or people have done, that you're not letting go, you're not allowing yourself to be free of that baggage, which means that that's going to keep you from trying to move forward or move forward in relationships or anything like that. Stop trying to self-preserve and basically knock down the wall and whatever. And I was just sat there like, I didn't say anything, like I didn't give any verbal cues. Maybe I did by body language or the way I was looking or blinking or whatever, but as far as I knew, I just kind of like, you know, like just nodding along with whatever she was saying, rather than sort of, oh my god, you are freaking me the hell out. How did you know that? She said about how my fears, and she was like, one of your biggest fears to sort of die young or die not knowing that you've lived. And I was like, oh my god, like, I don't understand. That sentence does not make sense, because that sentence is like always the one I say everywhere. When she said that to me, I kind of like, even I kind of like got like goosebumps in a way, like, because I was just like. And then she talked about how I grew up quite quickly. She said, you know, I feel like in your teens you grew up quite quickly. She said you became an adult really quickly, and you had to do a lot of growing up through some sort of family trauma. Try holding on to your youth, and that's why you have a sense of sort of maturity, yet you still try to hold on to that sort of youthful playfulness. I thought, yeah, my mum had cancer during like sort of like late teens, early 20s, and I know that about myself. It wasn't that she told me something I didn't know about myself. And she said, you know, you keep your family quite strong as a unit, and you know, you really do try to maintain that positive energy around everyone all the time. She talked a lot about career, and she was like, you're very career driven. I can see that there is some sort of career mind focus and that you want to achieve and you want to be somewhere. However, I feel like you're putting that in the way as an excuse to not be in a relationship, because you think, right now I don't need it, I'm too busy, and I want to go off and do things. And what you need to do is slow down. You're running yourself into an early grave, she said. And I was like, oh no. What else did she mention? Oh yeah, she mentioned about me having this one was really weird, because she was like, there's something you're going to do within the next year that you really want to go do, and I think that's going to be really eye-opening and really character building for you, whether it may be either going traveling, or maybe you are thinking of sort of starting a new job and things like that. Firstly, starting a new job in September. Secondly, I'm going traveling next year. So I was like, okay, that is strange, that is strange. Again, it could have been a good guess, because September's coming, a lot of people might be starting new jobs, God knows. But, you know, it was like, whoa, okay. And she looked in the crystal ball, and she was saying that she could see like images of me in a sort of role of where I'm either a teacher, or I'm doing some sort of like inspirational, motivational speaking. And I was like, okay, like, your crystal balls ain't lying, because I am a teacher, so your crystal ball ain't lying there. And then she moved on to sort of like scarier things, which is like life expectancy and like sort of life. And she did the crystal ball thing and looking at my thing, and she was telling me about like how, she said to me like, there seems to be like a family trend of like people dying young, especially on your mother's side. And I was like, because like, obviously my mum's family died quite young, so it was kind of like, ooh. So she kind of freaked me out a little bit there. And then she was talking about like how we have choices in life, and like any choices I make may lead me to dying quite young. And I was like,
no, 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 no.
Apart from that, she didn't say I was going to be a millionaire, so which I'm kind of disappointed about, because But, however, somebody kindly pointed out to me that maybe she didn't see millions in the future, maybe she saw billions in the future, so just saying, you know. She mentioned like, obviously the main things, aren't they, like career, money, things like that, and most of the things were spot on. Again, some of them could have been vague, so for all I know, it might not have been her actually reading my future or reading my palms. It could have just been something that, you know, potentially could be applicable to a lot of people. Like some of the things I've said, you might think, you know what, I'm like that. She could have an earpiece in, right, and her team could be like Googling Shabaz says, you know what I mean, for all I know, and I'm like publicly open for everyone to know all about me, so she could have blagged that. She didn't ask my name though, so that's a bit weird. All in all, to be honest with you, I'd probably give her like a 4 out of 5 for like precision, like, or being precise about this. You know, there was a few things that could have been a bit vague, but she was quite specific. Like, she did say specific things that were like suited to me. 5 out of 5 for vibe, like, you know, like the over general sort of how it feels to be around the person. Like overall, I'd probably give her about like a 4.5 or 4.5 out of 5, just because I thought she was really good. Like what she said and things she said, she wasn't trying to be mystic and like be all ooh. She was just literally just saying what she thought, and it didn't feel contrived. Like, it didn't feel like she was trying really hard to sort of impress me. Overall, it was good. Whatever, if you want to try it, try it. I'm not going to recommend, you know, you have to try it or you don't have to try it. If you want to do it, everyone has their own free will to go and try it. At the end of the day, I don't know, I wouldn't try it and hope that they're going to tell you the future and tell you that, you know, I know she mentioned a lot about like death and stuff like that, but I wouldn't ever like live my life thinking, oh my god, I need to remember what that, you know, Mystic Meg said. I'm not going to overly think about it. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give me a massive thumbs up. Like, if you also want to subscribe to my channel, do it. It'd help me out. Hit the bell as well so you get notified, because a lot of you don't get notifications apparently. I do put videos on Sunday, so you know that. If you want to check out last week's video, it's there. I put it for Monday, so that one was late. Don't forget to add me on all my social medias. Add me on Snapchat, because sometimes I let people watch the video earlier. If you want to do that, that's something that you're interested in, do it. Oh yeah, if you did like this video and you have comments, comment in the comment section. Honestly, I'd like to hear what you thought of it. So I'll see you next week. I got really bad pain in my back. Can I go back to bed?